So in this video, we're going to talk about naming files in Arduino and what happens if I name it something that is not a name Arduino can handle. So if I've made my my program, or maybe as I'm starting my program, this is a good habit, and I want to save it, I'm going to name it my last name and prelab2. And I click save. And what happens is, if I'm paying attention, I can see there's a comment at the bottom. The sketch name had to be modified. And I look at the modification, and it was spaces. Spaces can't be in a sketch name. So the spaces are replaced with underscores. No big deal. So I come to my Arduino folder. If you find in your documents, you should find Arduino there. And I can see this new folder. And inside the Arduino folder is an Eno file of the exact same name. That is because Arduino requires your Eno file to be in a folder with the same name. So it automatically does that for you. Now, let's say I close my folder, and in my, or I closed my sketch, and in my folder, I'm going to rename this. And I'm going to say, oh, I edited this, so I'm going to call it edit. Okay, so now I go to open this file, and I'm going to get an error because it needs to be inside a folder with the same name. So if I click OK here, no big deal. I come to my folders, and I see that it just moved it one folder in. And this gets really messy if I do it over and over and over again, but it manages itself. Now, what happens if, so let's go ahead and bring this out. And instead of that, I say, oh, I had originally renamed this, and I had gotten frustrated. So stupid piece, and it's spelled wrong, of code, right? And I'm going to hand this in to my instructor, and I realize, yeah, I probably shouldn't do that. So I come in here and I say McInnes prelab 2. And now you'll notice I put spaces in. So I go to open my beautiful functional Arduino file, and it needs to be inside a sketch folder, so it moves it, no big deal. And then it could not create the sketch. And now I've got that completed program, and I can't think of why it won't open. And the reason it won't open is there are spaces in that name. And so I caution you, when you're naming your files, just get in the good habit of saving it once, and then if you want to rename your file, open up Arduino and do a file save as. And this is going to be, maybe it was called that piece of code edit final. So now before I turn it in, I'm going to call it prelab2, and I save, and now it's right where it belongs, and I didn't possibly rename it something that it can't exist as. So if you're going to rename your files, I recommend you do it from here with save as, because if you save it as something that you can't save it as, right, it's going to go ahead and put in or change the characters it can't handle. So that's my recommendation for naming files in Arduino. And if you ever find you can't open a file in Arduino, before you hit the delete key and get rid of that file, ask for help, or make sure that you don't have any spaces or special characters in your name.